Hello everyone. Today I got a little story for you. I also got a little bit of a glare going on here. My other pair of glasses broke, so I got the spares on. But it's all good. It's still me. And today we have a story that addresses the duality of human nature. We all know where we have those good days, our best selves are present, we have the good qualities, good interactions, everything's going right. We also know we have the bad days where it's nothing's going right, we got our bad qualities, and it's just not really who we want to be. Now, I believe that this human dilemma is perfectly addressed in the Native American story of the two wolves. Pretty much the story goes like this. There's a young boy in a tribe, and he approaches one of the elders, and he's just pissed. Some other boy in the tribe was messing with him and making fun of him, so now he's telling the elder about it. And the elder just gives him a look of understanding and pretty much tells him he understands where he's coming from. He's felt those feelings of anger and spite before, and he begins to explain how futile feelings like hatred and divisiveness are. Through his years of dealing with emotions, the elders become very mindful of how emotions make us act and how beneficial that they are. He explains these conflicting emotions of happy, sad, angry, content, all the emotions really, and he describes them as two wolves. Every human being has both wolves inside of them. The first wolf being the good wolf, he possesses qualities like joy, peace, hope, love, humility, truth. And then we also have the bad wolf within us, which is he possesses the qualities of sorrow, conflict, despair, hatred, lies, and greed. Every man has these two wolves, and it's our individual responsibility to choose which one we allow to come to light. Now, personally, I have my fair share of experience of dealing with my two wolves. I used to be a person who you could say I was a nice guy on the surface, but in reality, that was just the front. Behind the scenes, I was usually angry, a little bit selfish, could be a little bit spiteful. Um, and these are things that we all obviously experience, right? But I was stuck in a little bit of a rut, ruminating on these feelings, and I was giving in to the bad wolf too much. Unfortunately, these feelings led me towards living a life of kind of more solitude and not really getting what I wanted out of life, not feeling very positive about it, right? So, looking back, it wasn't until I became stronger mentally, physically, financially that I began to recognize the difference between choosing to be a genuinely nice person versus acting that way because it's really the only way you can act, right? So, once I realized the power of choosing between positives and not necessarily overlooking negatives, but not giving them as much power. Because at the end of the day, things are what they are, right? We can't focus on the negatives when how are we supposed to get to the positives if we're stuck on the negatives, right? Especially when you can't do anything about them. So that was a big lesson that I took. I believe that the Native American parable of the two wolves does an excellent job at explaining this. And now I'm going to continue on to discussing the concepts of the story and how you can start feeding your good wolf so that way you always have that good positive self that you want to bring to the table. So to start off, we want to break down the bad wolf, right? So the quote from the story is he fights everyone all the time for no reason. He cannot think because his anger and hate are so great. That's how the Native American elder describes him. The bad wolf just symbolizes our darker nature. Everyone has it, as I said before. But if you're someone who's been feeding this bad wolf for quite a while, it's going to be difficult to stop feeding it, and it's not going to start willingly, right? So at this point, you might have rationalized your mode of acting this way, like, oh, this happened to me, so now I'm angry, or like I don't let people in, or nobody was kind to me, so why would I be kind to others? Which, on a rational level, that's valid, right? But we want to have good positive experiences and relationships with other human beings, and those aren't things that we can hold on to. We have to learn how to move past them. And the bad wolf might even be influencing you in ways such as negative thoughts, fear of failure, feeling sorry for yourself. And again, both those things might have valid reasoning, but we need to be mindful of how they're affecting our life. Feeding the bad wolf with, feelings like greed, negativity, self-pity, it only is to our detriment, and we really want to start shifting to the good wolf, The good wolf is described in the story, quote, he lives in harmony with all around him and does not take offense when no offense was intended. He will only fight when it is right to do so and in the right way. So when we think about this good wolf, it's just embodying the positive forces within us. So things like good habits, kind gestures, and positive thinking, these are all a part of the good wolf. Feeding this wolf means putting in the extra effort to nurture these qualities. It's not going to just come natural when our bad wolf has been winning sometimes. It's going to take the extra effort to start feeding the good wolf and having those come to the surface more often, right? Over time, after you nurture them, they become second nature, and you'll start to live a life more fulfilled with better relationships and good quality interactions. So, when we're navigating the internal conflict, in the story, the exact quote from the elder is, sometimes it is hard to live with these two wolves inside me because both of the wolves try to dominate my spirit. The balancing of our duality, that's a good word, requires self-awareness. Every thought we have and every decision we make ultimately feeds one of these wolves. And we don't want to get into like overthinking everything, right? But we can start to build mindfulness to be like, oh, okay, I'm kind of frustrated right now. Maybe that's my bad wolf coming out. And we can try and make better choices, realizing what state of mind we're in to try and get into that good wolf state of mind, right? You might be wondering, how do I know which wolf I'm feeding? And as I said, with the being angry, sometimes it's really obvious, but sometimes it can be a little bit more subtle. Like maybe we have a grudge for somebody or something, and it feels very, very valid, and we don't want to let go of it. But feeding the right wolf primarily just requires self-awareness and reflection. So it takes time to reflect on certain things like, oh, I'm having this grudge. Sure, the person did do me wrong, but at the end of the day, they're living rent-free in my head. It's, making me more negative. Nothing good's coming out of it. It's probably best if I just let it go. That's acting with your good wolf. So we really want to start cultivating self-awareness and reflection. Both of these things, they take time, consistency, effort, but the good news is that the earlier you start, the better. So I got a few self-awareness and reflection concepts that I've utilized myself and I highly recommend them. We want to start out with mindfulness because we need to start being mindful when we're in certain states of minds. So that way we can start fixing them in the moment and even after sometimes we'll be like, okay, I was in a bad mood, but at that point the damage is done, right? So we want to start to be really mindful. So we're in the moment, fix it right there, much easier, becomes natural. There's certain things we can do such as journaling, meditation, mindful eating, or even just setting aside some time each day that you're going to be mindful, which would just be, okay, I'm thinking about how I feel, why I feel like this, and why am I doing it, and what am I doing? Just you don't want to confuse yourself or anything, right? But sometimes maybe you want to be mindful about how you're feeling. Like, okay, I'm feeling kind of angry. What did I do today? What are some things that I can do to feel better? Another concept we have is positive self-talk. So once you start becoming mindful, you'll start to notice when you're in the negative, bad wolf mode of thinking, right? So what used to be just originally an unconscious automatic reaction of lashing out at people or maybe like receding inwards away from people, you're able to start to adjust it because you'll realize, oh, here I am feeding the negative, the bad wolf. What positives can I find to counter the negatives? And then you can start to get out of there, switch towards the good wolf. For example, you might be thinking about how you failed and you're feeling inadequate. Once you realize this, you should remind yourself that you're proud that you tried and acknowledge your good qualities and think how you can prepare next time to do better. The next topic is empathy. So we want to learn how to share in the feelings of other people. It certainly nurtures the good wolf within us. It does take the conscious effort to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, but we would want someone to do the same for us, right? To understand where we're coming from. The extra effort to understand someone else fosters positive qualities like compassion and understanding, and it definitely helps relieve negative feelings of judgment about somebody or even resentment towards someone else, right? Because maybe somebody did something to annoy you, but then you think, oh, they're going through this, or they're just like a different kind of person, they didn't mean it that way. And you're able to shed some of that negativity and at least hit neutral, right? It's better than feeding the bad wolf. As you start to do this, you'll feel much more connected to other people, and you'll be much more connected to the goodness of yourself. Another thing you can do is practice gratitude. Gratitude is absolutely life changing. It seems super simple, like, oh yeah, I'm grateful, like, but as it becomes a practice, you start to just randomly think of like, oh wow, like I'm really grateful for that interaction I just had or that food I just ate, and it makes things better just on its own. As you practice it, you just start to do it. And if you're mindful, you can start catching yourself in these negative thought patterns and replace the negativity with gratitude. So if you're negative about you lost your job, you're probably going to be mad and upset and feeling negative. Valid. Understandable, right? But instead of just being mad and ruminating over it, what happened happened, and there's nothing you can really do to change it, right? So wouldn't it be better to have gratitude and think about, okay, this job developed me for this, look at where it got me, and just think of it as an opportunity to find something better for yourself. There's always new paths developing, and we're just gonna follow a new one. So we just don't want to let the negative state get in our way because it's really just counterintuitive at the end of the day. Better opportunities are there, there's better methods of behavior, and those are the better things we want to start pursuing. So, reflecting on the overall gist of the story and everything I just covered, this story, the Native American parable of the two wolves, it reminds us of the war that we all have within, of the duality of human nature, of our good sides and our bad sides. If we start to nurture our good qualities like kindness, compassion, positivity, we start to feed our good wolf, make him stronger so that he can win the battle over the bad wolf. Conversely, if we start succumbing to our negative, our bad wolf more often, he's going to win the battle, and things like negativity and anger are gonna be more common themes in our life, right? And that's just gonna lead to turmoil and unhappiness. So we don't want that. So as long as we practice self-awareness, positive self-talk, empathy, and gratitude, we can start to embark on a journey of transformation. And as we embrace this wisdom, we understand that the choice to nourish the good wolf is the key to inner peace and fulfillment. I appreciate y'all all stopping by and checking out the video today. I hope you're considering feeding that good wolf within you. I know we all have it. The world would be a better place if we were more good wolves than bad wolves. If you haven't checked out the blog yet, please check it out, tylersguide.us. I cover the same things here, just in writing form, so if you enjoy writing, it's good for your brain. Make sure you head on over there to check it out. I got the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe for more, and as always, best of luck in your journey to fulfillment. Take care, everybody.